Ask a couple of questions like where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
City.
Never heard of the place.
Hello, good morning everyone. It's MotorHome Beep Beep and my name is Alan. And today, I've got to admit, I am a little bit emotional because I've just watched a documentary on the guy I'm going to do, and it's Eddie Cochran. And yeah, he was a super talented guy, this fellow was. I just watched a whole programme and he was a really decent character, talented, everything you would want to be a human being really. And it's so sad that he died at 21 years old. So stick around and watch it because it's a really interesting film. I'm in a lovely little place called Chippenham. I'm going to show you where I am, look. And just down the road is the sad place where he died. Isn't it gorgeous, look? There we are, it's a new motorhome there, look. That's the Beep Beep motorhome. Beep Beep. So, yeah, I'll go through his little bio because I knew Eddie Cochran. I knew Summertime Blues and, you know, Something Else and all those songs. But I didn't really appreciate how good he was until I'd researched him. So, I hope you enjoyed the film. There was a young lady called Sharon Shelley, and she was a songwriter. And she hung around with Eddie for 2 years. And Eddie kept her at a distance. He said, every time I turn round, there she is, bumping into me. What's going on? She's something else. And honestly, that was how he felt about her at the beginning. But the thing was that she really loved him. And he was focusing on his career. And he wanted to be successful, and suddenly one day he said to her after 2 years, "Do you love me?" And she said, "I do," you know. And he said, and she thought it was going to say, you know, in other words, well, you know, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. But he didn't. He said, well, that's good because I love you. And oh God, I've watched this documentary, it makes me emotional. It is sad because he was such a vibrant man, such a talented man, you know. And in the documentary she's talking about him, and you can see that she cared a great deal for him. So, and the thing was that when the car crashed, we're going to go to the spot where he died. When the car crashed, the taxi driver had gone down the wrong road, and he was trying to catch time up to get to the airport. He was going back to America, and he was putting his foot down basically in his Ford Console, I think it was, and he took the corner badly. The car hit the curb, punctured the back tyres, span round, and at that moment Eddie Cochran pulled her down onto Sharon down onto his lap and covered her. And the car hit the opposite side, a lamppost. They flung up into the roof of the car and out of the car, and he just died of head injuries, you know. But he protected her. And after the crash, she came round and she said, "Is Eddie okay?" And Gene Vincent, who was on tour with him, came over and said, "Eddie's okay," but he wasn't, and she knew that because she knew that if Eddie was still alive and he was conscious, he'd been by his side, and he wasn't. So he realised that, you know, it was serious. And unfortunately, the following day, I think it was 4:10 or 4:10, he died of head injuries, and that was the end of that. And Gene Vincent in the hospital. Gene Vincent was the headliner of the tour they were on. But Eddie Cochran was getting all the action. He was getting all the crowds going, and the management came to Eddie and said, "We want you to headline the tour." And Eddie said, "No. Gene is the headline act. I want it to stay that way." That's the kind of guy he was. And so they were very close. And Gene Vincent had trouble. He had a damaged leg or something. And Eddie was like a father figure to Gene Vincent. And when they were in the hospital, and Gene Vincent turned to one of the doctors and he said, "If you can save Eddie's life, I'll give you $10,000. And the doctor said, "Look, you could give me $10 million. We can't help him." And that's it, you know. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down to the crash site, which obviously what there is a monument there to him, and we'll also go to the hospital where he actually passed away in Bath. So stick around, we're going over there now, and we'll give you a little bit more about Eddie Cochran. Okay, we're at the spot now where the crash happened that killed Eddie Cochran, and this is Roden Hill. I'm going to spin it around, look, so you can see what had actually happened. Was George Martin was the taxi driver, and he came round this bend at great speed, and the Ford Consult hit the pavement over there. Two back tyres immediately went flat. The car span round and it crashed on the other side over there. And that was the moment when Eddie Cochran gallantly pulled his girlfriend onto his lap and covered her. And he didn't know, of course, it was the moment he died. Well, no, he didn't die that moment. He died the following day. I think it was 4:15 in the afternoon. It was the 17th of April 1960. But he protected her. And George Martin had lost time. He'd gone the wrong way. He was taking him to the airport to fly to America. And that's why he put his foot down, and that's what caused the accident. So, yeah, human error really, wasn't it? Now, there was a police officer that approached them, and it was Dave Harmon. That's it, Dave Harmon. And he went on to join the group Dave D, Dozy, Mick and Titch, which is rather bizarre when you think about it, wouldn't it? Because, you know, he became a pop star himself. So I'm going to spin it round now. This is where, unfortunately, he died, and the fans paid for this monument. So around we go. So we're coming up to it now. It's a new one. There was one before it, I believe, but this is a newer one. All the contents of the vehicle got strewn around there, records and sheet music, and of course, sadly, the occupants. So this is it. This is the monument, and it's very nice actually. Yeah, very pretty. I'm just going to put my glasses on to read it there. I haven't got my contacts in today. Right, so let's start off by reading it. Now then, Eddie Cochran, that's his 1938 to 1960. Of course, he was only 21 years old when he died. And these are the words from the song. You kiss and hold her tightly. She falls in love with you. You find a girl you love. There we are, the words from this song. Lovely. Yeah, very nice indeed. And it's got some fresh flowers there, look. Eddie Cochran, cherished memories for all of your fans. The Eddie Cochran Memorial Project. And on the other side it says, there we go, see that there? Eddie Cochran, Johnny and Eddie, 1953-1954, first love. Sweet. Oh, look at that. Some plectrums. There, look, for the guitar. Super, that, isn't it? I never liked the idea of leaving flowers, because when you cut them, you're killing them. But, da-doom, we've got the MotorHome Beep Beep flower now, and I'm going to leave one of these on every film. I'm going to have a little motif done with MotorHome Beep Beep, so people watch the channel will recognise it. But for today, this one will last because it's not a real flower. And let's put it on now for Eddie. Here we go. Here we go. I'll get a good shot. There we are. In goes the flower. There we are. Lovely. There we are. It is a shame somebody decided to steal the musical note there. Can you see? And we've got a little memorial plaque on the back. I'm going to take us around and read that. Here we go. There we are. Can you see it? Heavenly music filled the air that very tragic day. Something seemed to be missing though. So I heard the creator say, we need a master guitarist and a singer. I know of but one alone. His name is Eddie Cochran. I think I'll call him home. Well done, Eddie. Well done, my friend. he was a really talented guy. Who knows what he would have been if he'd have lived beyond a mere 21. Ridiculous, isn't it? He had a sort of had an extra string on his guitar or something, Joe Brown was saying, and it caused him to play differently, and Joe Brown noticed this, and he taught him the same technique, and he said, don't show anyone, Joe Brown, don't show anyone. And Joe Brown said, when I used to get my guitar out, I played the tunes a bit like Eddie Cochran in his unique style, and then he put his guitar away really quick so nobody could see the secret of the sound, you know. Very clever, very clever. So that's it, my friends. That's Eddie Cochran. What a guy you were. A lovely guy.
Well, how come I didn't run into you back there? You probably wasn't born yet when me and Jimmy Wakely was singing on WKY.
Well, could be. I'm only 20 years old.
20 years old? My gosh, how could you get all that talent in 20 years?
Was that?
Well, Eddie, you've been on Town Hall Party before, you know that?
Yes.
A long time ago.
A real long time.
I believe you and your brother was down here, and you're doing a real
He was
fine
not
job.
really my brother, but at the time, you know, we were going under the name, you know,
Cochran
Cochran
Brothers.
Brothers.
And you stepped out on your own and went on to Liberty Records, and you're doing all right there, boy. You're
We all get
way up.
lucky.
Some of the friends and neighbors, they might not be familiar with what we call the charts. The charts we read in the trade papers list the top 100 best-selling records every week, and Eddie Cochran has been in those charts, and I mean way up there near the top for many, many weeks now, and Eddie, we're all real proud of you, too.
Ray Edward Cochran, 3rd of October 1938 to April the 17th, 1960, was an American rock and roll musician. Eddie's songs such as 20 Flight Rock, Summertime Blues, Come On Everybody and Something Else captured teenage frustration and desire in the mid-1950s and early 1960s. He experimented with multitrack recording, distortion techniques and overdubbing, even on his earliest singles. He played the guitar, piano, bass and drums. His image was a sharp-dressed and attractive young man with a rebellious attitude, optimized the stance of the 1950s rock and roller, and in death he achieved iconic status. Though Eddie's best-known songs were released during his lifetime, more of his songs were released posthumously. In 1987, Eddie was introduced into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. His songs have been recorded by a wide variety of recording artists. Paul McCartney himself chose Eddie's 20 Flight Rock as his audition piece, assured to impress John Lennon by his performance of it, which he did, and was hired as a member of Lennon's skiffle group, the Quarrymen, which later were renamed as the Beatles. Okay, well, I'm now here at St Martin's Hospital in Bath, and this is the location where Eddie Cochran was born on the 17th of April. He died at 4:10 in the afternoon, and I'm just going to show you the hospital firstly. That's it over there. A very old building. It was a long time ago. It was a workhouse, and of course the church, very big and ancient. And there we go. So yeah, sadly that's where he lost his battle. And what they've done is they've put two things up here. First of all, we've got this monument, which we'll go have a look at. There it is. That was, and I'll read it. It says, "Never to be forgotten." Let me get down a bit. That's better, isn't it? October the 3rd, 1938 to the 17th of April, 1960. Edward Ray Cochran, St Martin's Hospital. Around it says country music star 1953 to 56, Hollywood film star 1957 to 1959. No, actually it says 1956, 1957 and 1959. Guitar and stage star 1953 to 1960. An American rock and roll star 1956 to 1960. Wow. Eddie's Walk of Fame. Singer Eddie Cochran, aged 21, was killed as a result of a taxi crash at Chippenham, Wiltshire, after leaving the Bristol Hippodrome. He was returning to America to headline on the Ed Sullivan TV show. Eddie left behind a number of classic recordings on various labels. 3 Steps to Heaven. Wow, there we go. So, there we are. Okay, Eddie, there we go. Little ladybird there, saying it's bit for you. And also, by the fans over here, we've got a sundial, which ironically might be quite hard to see the sun. Look. Ooh, surrounded by lovely trees. But anyway, let's have a look. Here we go. It says, the sundial in memory of singer Eddie Cochran was presented to St Martin's Hospital by his many fans from Bristol, 1938 to 1960. There we go. Yeah, well, it's a nice gesture, isn't it? There we are. Yeah, very sad indeed, but I mean, think about how long he was actually in the media. He produced a lot, didn't he? And yeah, I think he would have been an enormous star, obviously, and he still is in the short time he was there. But they always become iconic because they've died so young, don't they? You know? Not ideal though, is it? So, that is the end of our journey for Eddie Cochran, and I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope I'll see you all very soon. It's lovely to be back, and I love reading all those comments, you know I do, and I'm hoping to get it all revived, and we'll start doing lots of films this summer. So take care and be kind to everyone, because it makes you feel good and it makes them feel good, and I'll see you all very soon. And I just want to say once again, this is dedicated to Pauline England. She was an enormous Eddie Cochran star. She used to dance to his music, Summertime Blues, and I love her and I miss her. So take care everyone. I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye from me today, Alan on MotorHome Beep Beep. Bye.